Hello and good morning everyone. Welcome to DSS online classes. This is Roli ma'am here for science class. And students, today we will start our new chapter, reaching the age of adolescence. So it is the new chapter and chapter number 10 it is. In the previous chapter, which was reproduction, you have learnt how animals reproduce. Simply the process of reproduction. It is only after growing up to a certain age that human beings and many other animals can reproduce. Yes, whenever you get the sexual maturity, means sex organs start producing their gametes, then only you can reproduce. So that too will occur at the after a certain age. So why can humans reproduce only after a certain age? That is because they reach the sexual maturity at that age. In this chapter, you will learn about changes that take place in the human body after which a person becomes capable of reproduction. So these are the changes during the age of adolescence, and we are going to study about that. In chapter 9, you have learnt about human reproductive organs. Yes, we have already studied human reproductive system. In case of male, main sex organ is main reproductive organ is testes, and in case of female, it is ovary. So here we shall discuss the role of hormones play in bringing about the changes that make a child grow into an adult. So hormones play important role in bringing up a child into an adult. So let's start. So adolescence and puberty. Bujo was celebrating his 12th birthday. So Bujo is a boy and he is celebrating his 12th birthday. After his friends left, Bujo and Paheli began chatting with their parents. So after the party, they were discussed. Paheli studies in all girls school. So Paheli was a sister and he was studying in girls school. She started laughing. Why? She marked that many of the Bujo's school friends whom she met after a year had suddenly shot up in height. So increase in height occurred suddenly. Some of them were looking very funny with a hairy line above their lips. So in case of boys, hairy line above the lips occurs during the starting of adolescence. Her mother explained that boys had grown up, and Bujo begins from the day one. Growth begins from the day one is born. So after the taking birth, growth is a natural process which starts regularly. It happens, but upon crossing the age of 10 or 11, there is sudden spurt in growth which becomes noticeable. Yes, sudden spurt in growth means remarkable changes occur in your body which is noticed by everyone. And the changes taking place in the body are part of growing up. They indicate that you are no longer a child but are on the way to become an adult. I wonder how long this period marked by changes in the body will last. Yes, it will last up to the age of 19. So it is a strange period of life when you are neither a child nor an adult. So it is a strange period of problematic age. It is also known, and that is teenage. I wonder whether this period between childhood and adulthood had some special name. Yes, that special name is adolescence. So that is the topic today. Growing up is a natural process, and in period of life when body undergoes changes leading to the reproductive maturity is called adolescence. So changes which will lead to the reproductive maturity, and the time duration or the age duration during which these changes occur is known as adolescence. Adolescence begins around the age of 11 and lasts up to 18 or 19 years of age. Since this period covers the teens, 13 to 18 or 19. So listen carefully. 13, it lasts with the word teen, and 18 or 19 also ends with the word of teen. So these adolescents means the individuals who are in this age period or time period are also called teenagers. In girls, adolescent may begin a year or two year earlier than in boys. Also, the period of adolescence varies from person to person. The human body undergoes several changes during adolescence, and these changes mark the onset of puberty. The most important change which marks the puberty is that boys and girls become capable of reproduction. Puberty ends when an adolescent reaches reproductive maturity. Paheli and Bujo realized that sudden increase in height and hairy line above the lips in boys were sign of adolescence. They wanted to know more about other changes at puberty. So these are the sign of adolescence. Yes, in case of boys, these changes occur suddenly, and more changes, if they want to know, we will discuss about these changes. These are the changes at puberty, and the first and most remarkable change is increase in height. The most conspicuous change during puberty is the sudden increase in height. At this time, the long bones, that is the bones of arms and the legs, elongate and make a person tall. So the bones of arms, which is femur, and legs, thighs and tibiofibula, and femur and radioulna, these bones elongate themselves. As a result, the person becomes tall. Activity 10.1. The following chart gives a average rate of growth in height of boys and girls with age. Dear student, I am going to show you the chart in my next slide. At first, discuss it. The figures in column 2 and 3 give the percentage of height of a person has reached at the age given in the column 1. So at the certain age, that individual acquires the certain percentage of height, and that is the only the percent maximum height, that percent acquired in that age. For example, by the age of 11, a boy has reached 81% of his full height. So whatever full height that boy will acquire, whatever full height that boy will acquire is will be at this age, will be at the age of 11. Its maximum heights, 81% height is shown by the boy, while a girl has reached 88% of her full height. Full height means the maximum height which will acquired by that girl at the age of 18, and in this age, at the age of 11, only 88% of the maximum height is shown by the girl. So I hope this term is clear to you. These figures are only representative, and there may be individual variations. Use the table for your friends and work out how tall they are likely to be. Find out who is likely to be the tallest and who might be the shortest in your class. So age in year. Dear students, please look at this chart. Age in years, percentage of full height in case of boys and in case of girls. So at the age of 8, the height acquired by the boy is only 72% of his maximum height, while in girls it is 77%. So by observing this chart, you can easily find out that at the age of 14, 15 or 16, at the age of 16, boys acquire near about 98% of their maximum height, while girls acquire 99.5% of their maximum height. So at the age of 16, girls acquire near about their full height, while boys have to acquire some of the more 2% more height at this age of 18. Now you can calculate the full height. If you are observing that chart, then you can calculate your full height. Now present height, whatever present height you have in centimeters, and percentage of full height at this age as given in the chart. So you can easily observe at the age of 16, at the age of 15, whatever percentage is given in the chart, you have to write that percent number and into 100. For example, a boy is 9 years old and 120 centimeter tall. So the present height is 120 centimeter, and the percentage at the age of 9 years is, in case of boys, it is 75%. So simply you have to write 120 upon 75 into 100, and after calculation you will find the maximum height which that boy can obtain, and it is in this case it is 160 centimeter. Now activity 10.2, you have to plot a graph. It is shown here, and percentage of full height on this axis and percentage age in years in case of boys and girls. So you can easily observe that in case of boys, a height is grown with a slow speed but at a constant rate, and in case of girls it occurs rapidly, but at the end of the puberty age they obtain their maximum height, and this is the 18. At the age of 18 they acquire their 100% height, whatever they have. So it is shown here in the graph. Now use the data given in the activity to draw a graph. Take the age on the x-axis and percentage of growth in height on the y-axis. Highlight the point representing your age on the graph. Find out the percentage of height you have already checked. Calculate the height you might eventually reach. Tally your graph with the one given here. So you will find it out. There is no need for Paheli to worry. All the parts of the body do not grow at the same rate. Sometimes the arms and legs or hands and feet of adolescent look oversized and out of proportion with the body, but soon other parts catch up and result in proportionate body. So any of the change occurs at first or in later condition, your body will a proportionate body, a good outer appearance or a proportionate appearance will appear at the age of 18, because you obtain your maximum height and personality, whatever. So you must have noticed that height of an individual is more or less similar to the some family members. So this is because height depends on the genes inherited from parents. It is, however, very important to eat the right kind of food during these growing years. So adolescents always be careful about their diet. It should be the balanced one to obtain their maximum height and very good growth. This helps the bones, muscles and other parts of the body get adequate nourishment for the growth. So these will acquire maximum minerals and nutrients, and for maximum nourishment for growth. You will find nutritional need of adolescents discussed later in this lesson. So we will discuss about that. Next is Change in body shape. Have you noticed that boys in your class have broader shoulders and wider chest than boys in junior classes? Yes, during adolescence, in case of boys, shoulder broadens and musculature, heavy musculature appears. This is because they have entered as the age of puberty when shoulders generally So they have entered at the age of puberty when shoulders generally broaden as a result of growth. In girls, the region below the waist becomes wider. In boys, the muscles of the body grow prominently than in girls. Thus, the changes occurring in adolescence, boys and girls are different. So the next change is, now here is a question again. I'm worried through I have become taller. My face looks much smaller compared to my body. So don't worry about that. If you have growth and maturity in one body part only, because at the end of the maturity, at the end of 18 or 19, you will acquire a proportionate growth and maturity in each and every part. And our next change is voice change. So did you notice that sometimes the voice of some of the boys in your class cracks? Yes, it happens during the adolescence of puberty, that in case of boys, the voice becomes deep. At puberty, voice box begin to grow. Boys develop larger voice box. The growing voice box in boys can be seen as a protruding part of throat called Adam's apple, and in girls the larynx is hardly visible from outside because of its small size. So generally girls have a high pitched voice. Why it happens? Because their voice box never shows any increase in size, and as a result vocal cords remain the same in size. As a result, high frequency will be observed and high pitched voice will be come out, whereas boys have deep voice. Why it happens? Because increase in size of vocal cord will lead to the low frequency, and as a result voice of boy become deep. In adolescent boys, sometimes the muscles of growing voice box go out of control and the voice becomes hoarse. This state may remain for a few days or weeks, after which the voice becomes normal. So during this growth period, some of the changes occur suddenly and some of them slowly. So don't worry about that. Just cooperate and just manage yourself with these changes, because at the end of adolescence, each and every change will be in a proportionate amount. So here is the Adam's apple, which is shown here, and the side view of Adam's apple is shown, that is here, and this is the voice box which grows up in size, and you can see it as a protruding part. Many of the classmates have the hoarse voice. Now I know why. Yes, it is because of increase in larynx or voice box, and as a result size of vocal cords increases, and it can be observed as a protruding part in the neck, and that is Adam's apple. Now the next change is increased activity of sweat and sebaceous gland. Now sweat gland is responsible for secreting sweat, and sebaceous gland are responsible for releasing oil on the skin. So during puberty, secretion of sweat gland and sebaceous gland or oil glands increases. Many young people get acne and pimples problem. Young people during adolescence, it is very normal to acquire acne and pimples problem because of the increased activity of sweat and sebaceous gland. because their release or sweat or oil on the skin will act like a magnet on the skin for dirt and dust which is present in the your surrounding. As a result, you will acquire pimples and acne on your face. Now, a few glands such as sweat glands, oil glands and salivary glands release their secretions through ducts. Endocrine glands release hormones directly into the bloodstream. So these are the endocrine glands because they are ductless glands and they release their hormones directly into the bloodstreams. So they are also termed as ductless glands. So pimples on the face at this time because of the increased activity of these glands in the skin. Now, development of sex organ is the next change which occurred during adolescence. Look at the figure 9.1 and 9.3 of the previous lesson, which shows sex organs of the human. So simply you remember the diagram of female reproductive system and male reproductive system. At puberty, male sex organs like testes and penis develop completely, and these testes also begin to produce sperms. In girls, the ovary enlarges and eggs begin to mature. The ovary start releasing mature eggs. So these are the development of sex organs, releasing their sperms and capability to release their sperms or in case of female to release their mature ova. That is the development of sex organ. These organs acquire capability to release their respective gametes. Next is reaching mental, intellectual and emotional maturity. Adolescence is also a period of change in person's way of thinking. Yes, because he or she leaves the childhood activities. Now he will not play with the doll and toys. Adolescents are more independent than before and are also self-conscious. Yes, they will make their hairstyle, they improve their dressing sense and try to look good. Intellectual development takes place and they need to spend considerable time in thinking. So as a result, they try to live alone and maximum time they spend in thinking. In fact, it is often the time on life when brain has the greatest capacity of learning, when brain acquires the greatest capacity of learning. So whatever you want to be in your life, it is right time to choose that path and move on that. Sometimes, however, an adolescent may feel insecure while trying to adjust to change the body and mind. But as adolescent learners, you should know that there is no reason to feel insecure. These changes are natural part of growing up. So, dear students, please manage with the changes and try to maintain balance between the changes occur in body and changes occur in your mind, and just enjoy your adolescence, enjoy your teenage, because it is a beautiful stage of life which never comes back. Any stage of life will never come back, so just enjoy it and don't feel insecure or self-conscious. I hope you are clear with these changes, these general changes which occur during the adolescence, and if you have any problem, please ask your questions. Thank you.